This is the Quarken 27 cabin. The T-top version of this boat is also at this event, but we're going to focus on the cabin because I think this will prove pretty popular in the UK. The starting price is €105,000, excluding VAT. And this review, I'm going to give it a full tour, show you everything on board, but before that, let's get out to sea and drive it. I'm Jack Haines, and welcome to YachtBuyer. Quarken has a very simple approach to engine options in that there's only one, a single Yamaha V8 with 300 horsepower. That means at slow speed, it's a simple case of swinging the outboard from side to side. You have a bow thruster as well, but it's very easy just to kick it in and out of gear, and you know it's not a huge boat, so it responds very easily, especially in these calm conditions, and turns very nicely indeed. What I do like is that you've got a positive lock in and out of neutral, so you can't knock it into gear. If you get up out the seat and push it into gear without knowing it, you have to physically put it into gear. It is fly-by-wire. It's a little bit firmer, but it means that you have quite a nice bit of resistance. If it's rough, that will probably be quite useful actually, that you're not sort of too light on the throttle. But let's get up to speed and see what she can do. Let's get going then. Bit of stiffness to the throttle, but hammer it home and it picks up pretty nicely, and we are passing 20 knots. Got manual trim on the outboard, so we'll just bring that up a touch and then settle down very nicely at 30 knots. Yeah, that feels like a really comfortable cruising speed. It feels quite slow actually in these conditions. It's so unbelievably calm today. 30 knots really does feel like walking pace, but it's very comfortable. We've got traditional trim tabs, but they've got an auto trim, so you know that is being worked out. I'm not having to think about that at all. As the boat settles down, just gets itself in a really nice level running attitude. You can see the wake is right alongside us. It does sit very nicely in the water, this boat. The engine is a little bit noisy. You know, I think you hear it more than the Mercury's. It does make itself known. It's not too bad in the cabin. When you're sitting in the cockpit at speed, it is quite loud out there, but this is a really nice way to travel, and the driving position is very good. You can slide the seat. There's also got a bolster so you can stand and drive. In conditions like this though, it's very nice just to be able to sit with everything very close to you. I can sit right back in the seat, hand on the throttle. Obviously the wheel's good. The wheel's adjustable, so you can move that if you want. If you stand up, you might want to move it away from you a bit. There are no screens as standard. You can have one or two. And the way you navigate here in Finland, it's nice to have a sort of wider view of the archipelago, and then you have the closer view as well when you're following your route. Obviously it's important to have the two plotters to be able to do that. Screen in the middle with the engine information, and of course you can have other things up on the chart. You don't necessarily have to have the navigation, but this works really nicely as it is. What about the handling? Well, it's a twin-stepped hull, and although we're not going to be able to challenge it very much in terms of waves, it's certainly very enjoyable to handle in these flat calm conditions. There's lots and lots of grip. It turns really nicely. Really good levels of agility. Yeah, it's very nice. Turns around on itself pretty quickly as well, if you really turn hard. That feels very, very nice. And this is probably the only wave we're going to cross during this sea trial. And I don't imagine you're even going to notice it. No, there you go. Not the conditions to test the ability of the hull in rough weather, but certainly a big amount of fun. And the view is very good as well. You have glass floor to ceiling on the port side. Obviously you've got the door and a window behind you, so the view aft is very, very good. And with the sunroof, if you do a hard turn to port, you can also look through that to see the horizon. The stiffness of the throttle does mean that making fine adjustments is a little bit tricky, but what you do have is a button here on the neck of the throttle that allows you to adjust the speed in 50 RPM increments. So if you just want to knock the speed up and down, you do it with the press of a button. So you don't have to worry about doing fine adjustments to the throttle, so really that isn't too much of an issue. Storage is good as well. I've got 2 nice deep cup holders. There's a fabric wallet here at the bottom of the helm where you can slip things into. There's a nice big deep bin here where we've got the covers for the screens, things like that. Yeah, it's a practical space, but it's a really nice, easy driving environment. We're sitting here now at 35 knots, doing in the region of 1.5 litres per nautical mile. You know, that's efficient, fast cruising, incredibly comfortable way to cover ground. But yes, it does feel very, very nicely sorted. A shame we can't test it in more trying conditions, but you can only test the boat in the conditions you're given, and it performs very nicely. Top speeds in the region of 45 knots, but really this is what it's about. Sitting here at this 30 to 35 knot cruising speed, covering distance, you're fully enclosed, you're protected, you're safe. Yes, very good. Well, that's what it's like to drive then. Let's pull over and have a closer look at the deck's interior. We're back at base, let's commence the tour and let's do as the Finns do and board from the bow. Obviously you have the ladder here that pops out, it's telescopic so you can adjust the height, but we can just easily step on here. You've got the nice grip decking throughout, it stays nice and cool. Even when it's wet, it's really grippy, it feels really good under your feet as well. And the standout thing about the design of this boat is that you have the asymmetric wheelhouse, so it's not full walk around like the likes of the Axopar 28, and with Saxdor they obviously have the full beam wheelhouse. This, you've got one large deck on the port side. Aesthetically, not great, but in terms of practicality, it works very well indeed and gives you a nice wide wheelhouse, but also a really decent sunken side deck. Now up on the bow, there is the option to have a table here, and that table will also drop down, and you've got some infill cushions to extend this sun pad, but this is a really nice perch, very comfortable, set at a nice angle so you can sit back and enjoy the sun. And if we move aft, you do see the benefit of having the one big deck. You haven't got railings here, but this is so tall that you do feel nice and protected, and there isn't a rail here, but you can just hook your hand underneath this lip here so you can steady yourself as you walk forward. And as you get forward, you have got a rail that you can grab onto. Obviously you've got your midships cleat here, cleats at both ends, and there's a little step here as well just to help you off the boat if you want to get off amidships. The door obviously doesn't align with the helm, so unlike the Axopar, you can't get out on the same side as the helm as the skipper and sort of help with the crewing, but it's easy just to cross the wheelhouse out onto the side deck and then a nice step up and over onto the pontoon. We'll carry on aft. Underneath this panel here is access to the battery bank, and then back here we have storage underneath this unit here, if I find the catch. Nice deep storage locker. Doesn't have a ram, but it does lean right back, so hopefully it wouldn't slam down on you when you're out on the water. Obviously you can see you've got storage here for the fenders and the lines. This is just a very handy storage area to chuck bits and bobs when you're crewing. Lock that up again. Underneath my feet there is another really useful storage void. You've got some bags down there, but yeah, that's huge. That can swallow a huge amount of kit. And there is the option to have a table out here as well, and that same table can be installed in the cabin. I'll explain how that works in a second. Obviously you've got your split bathing platform here with the bathing ladder. The single outboard is the only option. This boat's obviously got the A-frame and the ski eye fitted too, and a stern anchor, not something you're likely to see much in the UK, but very popular here in these parts. Deck shower here so you can hose off with fresh water when you get out the sea, and just again some nice really useful little storage voids where you can put the ropes, other bits and bobs. There's one on that side as well. Very practical boat this, and very cleverly thought out, and it really stands out inside this wheelhouse. Nice that you can access the wheelhouse from astern and obviously through the side door. Ventilation is very good in here because you have that big floor to ceiling door, so you get a nice amount of ventilation through there. There's also a manual sunroof and there's a hatch by the driver, so depending on the conditions you can ventilate this how you need, and it also means there's a lot of glass in here, so it's very, very bright. Now this is the clever stuff. So first of all, this door can slide either way. As so, lock it in place, and then clearly this is a two-way bench, so if you have got the table fitted in the cockpit, 2 people can use this bench, 2 people can sit opposite. What you can also do is, via a mechanism on the end here, you can put another seat on this end so that you can sit a third person facing forward when you're in travel mode. Really simple mechanism, but there's an infill cushion. They've even extended the footrest below, so that person there also has a footrest, and there's a grab handle there for them to hold on to. Works very cleverly indeed. Both of these seats at the helm swivel round so they can turn round to meet this bench if you have the table inside. So you get 2 more people around the table, and underneath this whole section there is a galley. I say a galley, it's a sink and a cooktop, but it's very neatly integrated. Nice to have it. Another footrest down here for this seat, or if you turn round and you want a footrest when it's facing the dinette, you have that as well. Moving forward, obviously covered off the helm out on the water, but yeah, it's just to say really this is such a useful sized door. Not only is it tall, but it's nice and wide, really nice opening, so it's very easy to get in and out of the cabin. Heading below decks, this is a really good feature. This doesn't really feel like an afterthought. You know, it feels like it was really purpose built to have this cabin. Okay, it's small, it's not somewhere you want to spend a week or anything like that, but for the odd night, reasonably comfortable. The important thing is you've got a bathroom on board, and they quite cleverly haven't tried to enclose it because that would just feel far too claustrophobic. You've got a simple curtain for privacy, but yeah, you've got your toilet hidden under here, little sink, bit of storage. Simple, but pretty well executed. Quarken may be a relatively new name, but the people behind it know their boats. They worked at Finmaster and Grandeza before they started this project, and you can see that boat building now all over this boat. Yes, there are established players, established brands building boats like this, but this does things differently and it works really well, especially the really clever different configurations inside the wheelhouse. But what I'd like to know is which one you'd go for between this and the Axopar 28 cabin. I'll pin a comment below, reply and let me know which of those two you'd rather have in your berth. Thank you very much for watching that review. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. If you want to watch more of our sea trial videos, you can click on this box up here, and if you'd like to subscribe, please click up here.